HICCలో డేటా అనాలిసిస్ పాలసీలో భాగంగా మంత్రి KTR మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రసారం ద్వారా చూద్దాం.
Rama Garu, thank you for being here. Mr. Vishwanath from NASSCOM and to Bharani, Hyderabad Security Council, and also a strong proponent of the Hyderabad ecosystem. To all the dignitaries present off the dais as well, to the friends from the media, and ladies and gentlemen, many thanks, many congratulations to all who worked behind the screen in terms of formulating these 4 new policies. I welcome you all to this event with great pride, because this is the second in our series of policy launches. Some of you might be thinking, too many policies, does that complicate things or does that actually help? I think it really does help, especially in a sector like IT, where each and every one of the niche areas that we talked about with respect to data. As you may have noticed, all the 4 policies that have been launched today are connected to data. We live in very interesting times. Our Honorable Prime Minister recently, in the Digital India session that we had in Delhi, had spoken about an eventuality, a situation, a war in the future, which will not be fought in the traditional way. He spoke about a war which will not have a single drop of blood being shed. He spoke about cyber warfare. He spoke about how millions and billions of dollars can just disappear in a matter of few seconds. How data which is priceless rather, invaluable, can also dissipate in no time. But therein lies the challenge today. India can not only rise to the occasion, address the challenge, but also, as Sri Mohan Reddy had pointed out, take this as an opportunity to create millions and millions of jobs for young Indians today in our country. We need not dwell on the predictions about robotics, the predictions about automation, and how there would be reduction in terms of number of jobs in IT, in information technology in days to come. I think there are a lot of areas wherein automation may not be an eventuality, or at least in the near future may not necessarily be the solution. In fact, in all these areas that we've seen today, or that we've released policies on today, be it open data, or data hosting or data centers, or data security, or data analytics, because every day in, day out, there are millions and millions of pages being uploaded onto the web. There's gazillion bytes of data being created, and which is being deposited in different servers across the world, different cloud platforms across the world. And now to analyze these and to make sense of this data is in itself going to be a huge challenge. So therefore today, in this changing IT paradigm, our government has chosen to be a thought leader. Our government has decided that we actually will go through the exercise in consultation with the experts. Because our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri K. Chandrasekhar Rao, never fails to remind us that no individual or institution is a repository of wisdom. For the government to think or believe that it knows everything and therefore just can go ahead and formulate policies is a fallacy. We need to consult, we need to talk, we need to deliberate, and we need to come out with strategies in consultation with the domain experts. And that's exactly what we've done. We spoke to many of the thought leaders here. We spoke to many of the industry leaders. And only then, after consultation, after their inputs, after we've taken their suggestions, we've come out with 4 different policies today. These days, if you open a newspaper or any website or watch TV for a bit, barely a day goes by without seeing some article or the other which talks about the death of traditional, linear, process-based IT models, technological developments in cloud computing, automation, big data, and analytics and artificial intelligence will significantly affect the industry. In fact, they're already impacting the industry, as any of you who might be following the Indian IT majors will be aware of. And most of us, as we all know, as per some recent studies also, have realized that increased automation can definitely reduce in reduction of jobs. But that, again, to reiterate my point, therein lies the opportunity to focus on new sectors, the next waves of growth, to create more and more employment for our Indian youngsters who are looking up to the IT industry today to make them competent on a global scale. In response to the inevitable cycle of disruption, most companies are today focusing on moving up the value chain, investing in new technologies, investing in skill upgradation, and attempting to ramp down their reliance on traditional bread and butter IT offshoring contracts. Therefore, given the overall scenario change, we are focused on these 4 new changes. We've managed to put Hyderabad, especially in the last 2.5 years, on the global map by way of attracting some marquee names in the IT industry to Hyderabad. Today, we proudly say that out of the top 5 most valued tech companies in the world, 4 of them have chosen Hyderabad in the last 2 years to set up their largest offshore development centers in our city. That would include Google, Microsoft, Facebook, of course, has been here for a while, and Amazon, Apple. All of them have chosen Hyderabad in the last 24 months. I would also like to point out, while these are large organizations that have come in, created thousands of jobs, there is a large, huge contingent of small and medium enterprises as well, more than 12 to 1,300 of them, who have also chosen Hyderabad for their base and who have also reposed a lot of faith in us. Now, to add to these long list of companies, now what we're trying to do is basically create a new benchmark, be the thought leader in terms of policy making and in terms of leveraging these big challenges that the world faces today, especially with respect to data hosting, security, analytics, and take this as an opportunity and use this as a stepping stone for further growth in the city of Hyderabad, especially information technology. Now, in line with our focus on continuing to be the pioneer in leading the next phase of technology evolution in India, we have just announced or launched 4 policies. Data centers, in fact, Mr. Mohan Reddy was just asking me, why would you call it data centers and not cloud-based solutions? Data centers today are more critical to information technology in India today. I think the day is not far when Government of India and several other state governments in India also would start requesting and mandating that whatever data that gets generated in their geographical domain be also hosted within the same geographical domain or within the country at least. So therefore, this is where we believe that cloud computing eventually comes down to earth and preferably to our country. And we believe that within India as well, Telangana can be a key player in data center business. We already have a level 4, tier 4 data center in the form of Control S, which is very much in the city of Hyderabad. While there is a raging theoretical debate going on in some circles on whether or not a state should promote actively in terms of data centers, we have made our call and we believe that it makes eminent sense to do so. The reason being, there is a vertical integration that can be leveraged. We can start talking about manufacturing, because electronic manufacturing is definitely a focus for us. We can start thinking of server manufacturing. We can start thinking of manufacturing in the data center domain. There are also significant knock-on effects to building up this capability, not the least of which is the development of non-metro locations. So we can even start thinking of tier 2 locations, creation of jobs in such areas, as some large organizations will definitely would want to move closer to the data centers. To this end, the new policy that we've announced today in data centers will definitely, and the slew of measures that we've also announced, will ensure high-speed fiber connectivity is provided, continuous supply of water, power, in addition to also tailor-made incentives, which are already part of the package, will definitely sustain and ensure that data center campus that we plan to launch soon will be a huge success in Telangana. With respect to open data, Telangana will be among the pioneers in the country in coming up with this policy. Telangana state open data policy is the first step in opening up government data to a host of potential applications. The policy sets the necessary framework in place to operationalize the state open data portal, data.telangana.gov.in. The policy has many enabling provisions in place for multiple stakeholders. Through this policy, we hope to catalyze data-based decision-making and the development of important solutions for societal benefit as well. Now, cybersecurity, as I've mentioned, is a huge opportunity and a challenge. Maintaining law and order in the cyberspace is gradually becoming very, very important, if not maintaining it more than in the physical space. Telangana's vision today is to provide a safe and secure cyberspace for all of its citizens, businesses, and all other stakeholders through this policy. The cybersecurity policy of Telangana, which is the first of its kind in the country, aims to accomplish the following: build an awareness about cybersecurity and safe cyber practices among the citizens of Telangana, establish requisite institutions and legal framework to counter cyber crime. In fact, we are also the first state in the country to have launched Telangana Intellectual Property Crime Unit, TIPCU, protect our critical information infrastructure, build a readily available skilled workforce for the industry. In fact, as was mentioned earlier, there are millions of jobs in this area ready for the taking. Promote the state as an ideal destination for cybersecurity firms and startups to develop cybersecurity products. Major initiatives to accomplish the same. In fact, we've already started with several. Cyber forensic labs, information sharing analysis centers, and T-CERT in the lines of CERT India. Now, designing certification programs through TASK, the Telangana Academy for Skill and Knowledge, master's programs, diploma programs through leading institutions with the cooperation of Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University. All of this will be part of our comprehensive cybersecurity policy, which we believe will be a huge sector in terms of employment creation. Data analytics is again a very, very interesting opportunity and interesting initiative of Government of Telangana. Our data analytics policy today strives to create a data-centric ecosystem which will attract businesses, strengthen smart governance initiatives, encourages data-driven decision-making, and nurture requisite talent pool to meet the future demand. The salient features of this policy include setting up of a data analytics park in Hyderabad with state-of-the-art facilities. We've already inked a couple of MOUs, a plug-and-play facility, and a shared infrastructure. Developing a skilled workforce in data sciences as a focus of the policy. Relax procurement policies, procurement rules to ensure a commercial cell is also set up to identify products and help them scale up to promote startups and SMEs. And Telangana Data Analytics Wing under the State Chief Information Officer to be set up as an agency for civic intelligence and to actually proactively promote data smart governance in all departments. These are the various initiatives that we've come out with today. Over the next few years, we want to be known as a truly global, innovation-driven state and amongst the first technologically advanced regions in the world. As we continue down this path and as we receive more and more encouraging feedback from the industry, both in terms of sound bites as well as investments, I'm confident that this startup state of ours, the state of Telangana, which is coming along quite nicely in leaps and bounds, actually, will very soon become the rarest of rare entities, a unicorn or maybe even a decacorn. Thank you very much once again, and I appreciate all of you showing up in such large numbers. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for unveiling a very comprehensive vision. I'm sure under your leadership, all that will happen. The next item is a letter of intent exchange between Cisco and the government of Telangana.